Hi, I'm Debra Birnbaum, and I'm here with Margo Martindale. Hi, Margo.
Hey, Deborah, how are you?
I'm good, but more importantly, how are you? Is this sticky season two? We revealing plot points?
Well, I was trying out some makeup for Sticky season two. Yeah, that's what that is. No, actually, be very careful out there, and if you're in the Northeast, because there's a lot of black ice, and I slipped getting out of a car and landed on my face,
And- Are you okay?
and I'm
Most
perfectly
importantly.
okay.
Well,
As
thank
you
you.
can see, this side of Margo Martindale is perfectly fine. This one, not so much.
Well, I appreciate your commitment to your craft
Thank you,
in this interview.
thank you,
Thank you.
thank you.
Well, clearly you put your heart and soul and your face into your work. So thank you so much. I appreciate you doing this.
Oh, I'm happy to be here.
Well, first of all, congratulations on the response to the sticky. Are you enjoying that?
Oh, I honestly had a absolute blast doing it. And, it was a group effort, a threesome really. And those guys were just terrific, as were all the Canadian actors and French actors that we worked with. It was a joy from the beginning till the end.
And now that it's out in the world, what's the response been for you? What do you?
It's been quite positive. And people are writing me from all sorts of walks of life. So I'm very happy about that they actually get it, and that it's a frolic. It's a dark comedy, of course, and nothing makes me happier than desperate people being funny, as you can see.
Yes.
Anyway, yeah, it's been great, just great. And the writers, Brian Donovan and Ed Harrow, just wonderful, as was Michael Dowse, the director. They're all just, it was a joy fest.
I know this came to you in an unusual way, so can you share that story about how this came to you?
Sure. I was sitting in my bedroom one afternoon, and I got a call. It says, Margo, this is Jamie Lee Curtis. Hi. Listen, there's a show that I was going to do, but I can't do it because of my schedule. And I thought, who is most like me that I could? And she said, and then you popped in my head, you. And I thought, in my head, in what world? But anyway, she said, so you're going to do it. I said, well, I'll read it. And it sounds exciting. No, you're going to do it. And I said, well, I don't know. Let's see how it all works out. And then she said, you're going to do it. And I said, I probably will, Jamie Lee. I probably will. And loved it. I loved it the moment I read it.
How did you even prepare for playing the role?
I did work a lot with the dialect coach to try to get mostly getting my O's to sound Canadian, getting my most of my vowels not to sound East Texas, flatten stuff out. Not a real strong Canadian accent, but I thought the sorries and all of the O's of Canada were really important. So I worked I worked every day on that, every day. And the rest was put on a hat and go out in the snow.
Hard labor for sure.
It was.
How about building the chemistry with your castmates? Because it looked like you were having a fun time playing off of each other.
Yeah, it was instant. It was instant chemistry with those boys. Instant boys. They're both grown men, but they're younger than me, so I can call them boys. Uh, the instant chemistry, not even out of step once. That happens rarely, but it happened on this. Yeah.
It's hard to imagine that, you've made such a career out of playing, and I will come back to this character actor idea, but that you've been playing those kinds of roles for so long, and this is the first time you've ever been number one on the call sheet. What did that mean to you?
Well, it was an honor. It was an honor. It was something that had I had I been dying to be no, I hadn't been dying to be number one. I love acting, no matter how you throw it at me. But it was an honor. It was an honor to lead the tone of a show, meaning not the tone of the story, but the tone of the atmosphere of the group. That everybody's kind to each other and supportive, and at most shows that I've been on, that I've responded to the number one uh, being that way, and welcoming all. It truly is an honor at 73 years old to be number one for the first time in my life, except for maybe Paris Tam, because I was the only one in that show, in that movie.
And so, talk about working on set with. So, what happened when Jamie Lee showed up on set? What was your relationship like with her?
We actually had a friend in common, a guy that I dated in at the University of Michigan, was her best friend till the day he died, and she helped him through that. So it was an automatic connection between us, and um, and she's supportive. She's a ball buster. She's a powerhouse. She's a straight shooter. She is extremely prepared. She comes to play, and what more can you ask for?
What was the process like on set? Did you rehearse? Were the scenes all like, did you shoot from start to finish? What was the onset process like for all of you?
Well, we jumped around some. We didn't do start to finish. They tried to do in order, but we'd have to come back, and a lot of things were cut, and a lot of rearranging in the edits, and it was I we maybe we would read through it, but that would be about the that everybody was beyond prepared, so that would be about all we needed to do till we started to play. And it was interesting working with all the French actors, because they're working, they're doing double time.
Right.
Like Guillaume Cyr, who plays Remy, this is his first English speaking role. So they all were. I took my hat off to them because they're really having to study at all times to come out and do it and make it sound like they've always done it.
So how does Ruth Landry fit into the, oeuvre of character actors that you've played before? You've got a long list of kind of interesting characters that you've played.
I think Ruth is the most depleted, the most desperate, the at the at the height of her rage. I usually have built to something. I think Ruth starts at the top and goes even higher. So that was different. Number one, that she's finished with all of this crap. She's finished. She's got to get. She's desperate. Her
Mhm.
husband's in a coma. He fell out of a tree while I was asleep. I mean, guilt. Uh, a lot of layers to Ruth and to Mike, who is just a sad, desperate man, and and to Remy, who
Lollipop.
we all want to be lollipop, and we all want to be seen,
Right.
all of us noticed, make a mark.
If there's a season two, would you be back for it?
In a moment.
Where do you think they head off in season two? If there was a
Well,
season two, what would you like to see for her?
I would like to. I honestly, well, I'm rooting for them. You know, they're breaking the law, but they're Robin Hoodies. You know, I want them to get away with it.
That really is the trick of the show. I mean, they're criminals, but the trick really gets you on their side, even as wacky as they are, even though they're committing a crime. How do you pull that trick off?
Go for the truth. I think always go for the truth, and the truer you stick with it, the funnier it is. The more desperate it is. That's the trick of comedy to me, is that it if you start coming from truth, it's not going to be funny to me.
Mhm.
And I I think we did that. I really do.
Did you have a favorite moment or a favorite scene as you look back over the first season?
Well, I love the scenes that were with my husband. I love the scenes with my sister too. I thought they were very honest. And I loved when I came home and found that he had been taken away. I didn't love it. I hated it. But yeah, uh, those were different moments for what most of the show were. Very dramatic, but real moments.
So I guess it probably answers my next question. Were those the hardest or the most challenging moments for you?
Some of it was. Some of it was more challenging than. I mean, it's uh, going to sadness and desperation for me is fairly easy, but for some reason the the loss of coming in and finding my husband gone, I it took me a while to get to what that really felt like. Um, but I think I did.
How did you get there?
Just doing it over, thinking through my head again. Now, what would this feel like? What would this really feel like? What could this feel like? Uh, and I don't even remember if I screamed in what happened there, but I did scream a lot when I found that out and fell to the floor and stuff. I don't remember what happened. I haven't watched it but once.
You don't watch yourself?
Yeah, I enjoy watching myself.
You should.
Isn't that obnoxious?
No, not at all. I think it's wonderful. You should.
Well, I enjoy watching what we've all done together. Yeah,
What does it mean to you to get roles like this at this point in your career? It feels like they're
it
just getting better and better.
just couldn't be more grateful. Could not be more grateful. I was listening to Ted Danson's bit that his Girl Derby thing, and it kind of he sort of said a lot of the things that I think, and I watched his show and I thought it was really wonderful. Man on the inside, yeah.
Hmm. I was thinking about, what I mentioned earlier about this idea of being a character actor, but I feel like I mean it in like a positive, like what a character. Like it's sort of you bring such richness and depth to the roles that you play. I would take it as a compliment rather than being like thinking of it as a, I don't want to say sideshow, but as a side act. There's something about
Sideshow. Yes, I am a sideshow,
no, no, you
especially today.
didn't.
No, I acting is character acting.
Exactly. That's my point. That's what I'm
Yeah,
trying to say.
yeah.
Like that's exactly the role that you bring to it.
I was with an actress or actor one day doing an interview for something years back, and she really, really did not want to be called a character actress.
Mhm.
And I thought, why not?
Right. It's a compliment.
It's a compliment.
It
You
means you're
think Meryl Streep's not a character actress? She's a character actress. She
exactly.
changes all the time.
Justified isn't justified without you. Americans isn't Americans without you.
Two great shows, two great parts.
Are there any roles in your career that you would want to revisit if
Oh, I thought about doing Mags Bennett as a younger Mags Bennett or something like that. I thought I don't want to touch that part. I want it to stay exactly as it was. And Claudia in The Americans, I could go on with her for a while.
and where is she now? Where's Claudia now?
Probably as dead as a doornail. I don't know.
Just making borscht somewhere. Someone
Maybe.
someone poisoned her borscht.
Uh,
What's next for you?
well, I'm right now doing I wonder if this will be ready. I'm doing the John Bonet Ramsey project with Melissa McCarthy and Clive Owen. Uh, Richard LaGravenese has written it, and it's fun. It's fun. It's a group of people I know and really love. So that's been fun. Though it's in the icy Calgary.
What is it with you and snow?
I don't know. And this was in Brooklyn, so this was in Brooklyn. But I got out of a high Uber and stepped onto ice that I thought it was the road. I thought it looked you know, black ice. Woo, bah. So Calgary, I've been very good in.
I just meant like even with the sticky, like you're doing shows in snow.
Yeah, I don't know. With me
I
in the
think you
snow, I
deserve a
don't know.
Hawaii, White
I do look.
Lotus.
I enjoy the look of snow.
Right.
I love if a movie is set in a white snow everywhere, I'm very drawn to it. The bleakness of it. Yeah.
So when people watch the sticky, what do you want them to take away from it?
I hope they have a wonderfully fun time watching it and want to come back. It's a frolic. It's different. It's different from other things.
Well, isn't that what makes TV great right now?
What's that?
Isn't that what makes TV great right
It
now?
is what makes TV great. I honestly, I'm going through the Academy stuff, looking at movies and stuff. So far, I haven't found but a couple that I like as much as watching a television show. I mean, I'm certain there are going to be some wonderful ones coming up, but television's more, for me, alive. Now, that doesn't mean I don't want to do another movie,
Right.
but they're very, because the writers you can lead the writers a bit if you want to, if you're really sneaky.
For sure. What are your tricks? How do you lead a writer?
Well, if I wanted to lean on something that I thought was important in the character, I would lift it in some way to give them something to hold on to. And some writers write it all at the first, but other writers, some really good ones that I love, uh, are looking to find something that you've given them to make something else into.
Do you find that writers are writing for you at this point?
People say they are, yes. Um, I think so.
I'm sure they are. Who are some of the writers you like working with?
Oh, I love Graham Yost. I love Graham Yost, and I loved Joe Fields and Joe Weisberg. These young men, Ed Harrow and Ryan Donovan, are just a delight, and a very fresh, different voice. That's been a lot of fun. Of course, in the day, Robert Benton is one of my favorite writers, and Alexander Payne. Those, and Alexander I did a television show with, as well as a movie or two. And and then there's, but that was Graham's group. Sneaky Pete was Graham's group too. I love that guy that did Eddie Izzard and Minnie Driver.
The Riches.
The Riches.
That was a great one.
It was a great one. It was a very smart. He was. I can't think of his name. Isn't that terrible? That's a while ago. Almost 20 years.
Feels like it was ahead of its time.
It was a Dominic somebody, and he was a Russian Jew who had moved to Louisiana. So he was writing. So it's just so wild. But that show was ahead of its time. Very ahead of its time.
I feel like now in the era of cable and streaming, it would have found a voice now.
It would have, but what happened in there, and it probably would have been the same, but it was the writer's strike after 2006 or 7.
First.
First. So that sort of,
I know. It. Too bad. I remember that one.
I did too. I really liked that.
What makes you say yes to a part now? Is it the script? Is it the writing?
It's the writing. It's always the writing. It's, if the writing's not good, you might as well. It's all about the writing. And people, who speak the truth, really. That I don't want any Southern things. I don't like Southern things that are cute. But I haven't been doing Southern things much lately. But it makes my skin crawl when they're cute for cute sake. Um, I don't know what I'm looking for. I'm always looking for different than that. See, that's why I came on here like this. It's different, that's for sure.
It's different.
Um, another way to spin it, but probably next would be something very calm and quiet. That is what's next. Something very calm and quiet. Maybe not calm, but quiet. I love quiet.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's something so interesting about the quiet of the the rests in between the noise.
Right. Enjoy that. You deserve it.
Thank
Stay
you.
safe. Don't step on
Thank
any
you.
more black ice.
I'm not even going outside.
Okay. I'm sending you a protective bubble and some bubble wrap.
Thank you, Deborah, so very much. I
Thank
appreciate it.
you. It was a pleasure. Take
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Bye.